Shall I start the opening, guys? Yeah. What's it like being at the London Comic Con?
We don't know yet because we've just been sitting in a room waiting to see everybody.
I had a full English breakfast though. I had baked beans, I had tomatoes, I had sausages, I had
That's
eggs.
true.
You don't get baked beans at breakfast in other countries. Yeah.
We're excited to be here.
Have you seen the guys who, all the people come dressed up in the outfits yet?
No, not yet.
Just on the way on the
for.
car ride over, there were like mobs of people kind of walking towards the convention center, and all in costumes and stuff. It's really cool.
They look very dedicated.
Yes.
Yeah. Braving elements.
Why don't you introduce us to your characters and your roles on the show?
You first.
All right. My name is Ksenia. I play Kenzie, Beau's best friend and confidant, a thief with a wicked sense of fashion. Yeah.
My name is Rachel Skarsten. I play Tamsin. And Tamsin is introduced in season 3 as Dyson's partner and sort of Beau's foe. And we don't really know exactly what her motives are. They're sort of revealed at the end of season 3, and that is all I can say. And she doesn't have as good a fashion sense as Kenzie, but
It's getting
We're working on
actually,
it.
you should go next. I should go last.
Okay. My name is Emmanuelle, and I play the Morrigan. I'm the leader of the Dark Fae, and I think I have pretty good fashion sense. Just
yeah, you have a pretty killer fashion.
Delicious fashion sense.
I would hate to admit that, but okay. Since we're in London,
we can
it's
share
coming out.
that. We have something in common. Yeah, leader of the Dark Fae, and you'll get to find out a lot more about Morgan's past in the new season and interaction with other characters. It'll be fun.
Yeah, I think it's understood by now.
Okay.
But I'm Jay Firestone. It's my show. I buy their fashion clothes.
And then
when
he
the show
wears
is over,
them.
I own them all. So I'm going to have all these great shoes and dresses and outfits. I don't know
He's
what I'm
actually
going to
not
do.
lying. I just went
I
into
don't
his
know.
office the other day, and I walk in, and he's like, I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, I'm trying on, I can't see
We
the
can't say-
person's pants, but I'm trying on their pants. I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah, every time we have this
Or
really cool
stilettos.
guest star, if we kill them, I get to take their clothes afterwards. So, it's a fun show.
eBay next stop.
Hey, man.
Now, guys,
Sure.
Kezia, for example, your character is very street smart, isn't she? How would you compare yourself? Do you think you're as street smart as she is in real life?
Oh God, no. I'd be terrible. I always say what I admire about Kenzie is that she can stare evil right in the face, and no matter how afraid she is, she will stay there, you know, for her friends. She'll fight to the end. So I try to learn from her. I hope to be that brave and courageous in my own life. And street smart, I don't know. I feel like if I had to live on the streets, I'd be like a total baby, and definitely not as tough as she is.
And Rachel, your character Tamsin questions her loyalties, doesn't she, in the show? Tell us a little bit more about that.
Well, Tamsin, I think, struggles because she's a part of the Dark Fae, but in many ways has been displaced from her original purpose. And I think, you know, we all sometimes experience that in life, and it's hard then to fully identify with who we were before, especially since she's now met all of these lovely light fae people, and really, you know, I think falls in love with Beau in a lot of ways. And so that sort of presents this huge problem for her. And it's been really interesting this season to sort of see how that changes and evolves and whatnot.
And Emmanuelle, your character's quite cunning, isn't she? How cunning are you in real life? And what do you think it's saying about talent agencies?
What, the feeding off of their talent sort of thing? It's not. There's a lot of parallels, I think, in that world.
Seriously.
I think it's a lot of fun being able to say and do inappropriate things that normally in real life you wouldn't be able to say or do, but you sometimes really want to. And I think that's one of the great things about the Morgan is she's unapologetic about who she is and how she handles people. And I think, you know, but yet she still has to manage things, and she doesn't show her cards all at once. Because she has to manage different, you know, the light fae and all the different characters that she comes into contact with, and for her own purposes, and make sure that things go her way.
Cool. Can I ask you guys a question about the role of women in television, if that's okay? Because It's kind of a hot topic in Britain with all the Scandinavian TV. There's been a lot of strong women fronting a lot of the shows there.
Yeah, Scandos.
Nordic noir, you know. And I was at an event for that recently, and everybody was saying to all of these actresses, it's amazing you got all these strong roles for women, and all the actors were going, well, we kind of just thought they were strong roles, full stop. And I was looking at the fact that you guys do a horror show, it's a fantasy show, it's got all kinds of layers to it, and there's a lot of horror coming out of America right now, a lot of horror TV, and yet you're the only one that seems to have such strong roles at the front for women.
This guy. It's this
We
guy.
were just talking about this.
We're very
Jay,
lucky because it's his like specialty. Girl power is this man's specialty. So we're all just lucky to be a part of it. And it's a challenge to find roles for women that are strong and exciting and challenging for us as actors. So
And also don't depend, like the females in the show don't get their identity from males. Their characters aren't sort of dictated by what the male characters in the show are doing, which is so rare. It's really dictated by what the female character in the show is doing.
Yeah.
I'm the voice of women on the show. There was a big fight with the writers.
Oh, the voice of women.
There was a big fight with the writers, and we had a couple guys on the set. And we have a mixed set of writers, women and men, that write this show. And we had a very conservative writer for a little while, and he started writing scenes that didn't make sense to me. And we had this big fight one day, and all of a sudden my whole office hears me yelling and screaming in the office. I said, I am the voice of women on the show. You know, and I said, you write what I tell you to write. And then we had this big fight about it, and it was fun. But I've sort of developed this over the years. I did a show called the original Nikita years ago. I did a show called Relic Hunter with Tia Carrero, which was fun. And I've done a couple films with women, and just it's. I read Cosmo on planes. You know, I read advice columns. No, in the early days. I used to. I swear, when I was on airplanes and I traveled constantly, I'm on a plane every other week, sort of thing. I used to read women's magazines because I didn't read the guys' magazines. But the girls' magazines, I learned advice columns, stuff like that. So,
Really?
Yeah.
Like, dear Cosmo.
Unbelievable what women write. Cosmo, it cracked me up. The advice they asked.
Did you ever write in yourself?
Did
Did you ever write in and ask for advice yourself?
Write in Cosmo? No.
She actually
How do I
writes the
make a hit
answers
show?
to Cosmo. It's like a ghostwriter for
No, but I've actually written parts of the show on a regular basis. I wrote one script, but I've written like scenes. You know, whenever I'm frustrated with something, I'll take it over and I'll write it. So
Where did Lost Girl come from? The origin.
Silly idea I had. I was sitting in con and I had the idea. A friend of mine actually had pitched me a low-budget movie sort of thing, and I said, no, I can make a series out of this sort of thing. So, and he had pitched me a very weak idea. Oh, shouldn't say it that way. He pitched me something that didn't work, right? And it was a genetically engineered girl and I decided she should be bisexual because I said at one point, if Buffy were made today, she'd be bisexual. And I said she's got to be strong, she's got to be conflicted between what's right and wrong, and there should be no rules to her life. She should determine her own rules. And I gave that general rule to a few people. A few people were challenged to write something. Michelle Lovretta came in, she found the character out and she put it in the Fae world, which was great. And it just started going from there. But the idea was a very strong, undefined character in that she was going to find her way. We adapted like mad to this cast. Okay, Anna, who plays Bo, the original character was a strong woman who ripped doors off buses and was determined, and Anna had a certain naivety in her own performance, so we changed the role to a bit. Ksenia, she knows this, her role was originally fairly minor. We hadn't expected her to be what she turned out to be, so she was just a little bit of a kid in the scene, and then she turned out to be a hero in a big way because of the way she did the performance.
Boom.
You know? Emmanuelle, and I love telling the story. Emmanuelle was supposed to be this quirky character that came in once in a while and just did some mean, evil, we called her Cruella de Vil sort of things. You know, but she really brought it all to life. So she's become a much bigger character in the show. And Rachel was my, what do I call you? I said the angel devil. I said I wanted this. I had this little dream of this new character to introduce, and I said, I want the face of an angel. It's going to be our real shit. So,
Which is nothing like in real life.
Nothing.
and everybody said, oh, you'll never find her. So it's been fun, because these characters have all been developed to sort of improv-wise. I don't know if that's the word, but they evolved.
Is that why Emmanuelle's got some of the quirkiest dance things I think I've ever seen you do in your career?
That is like one of my favorite scenes ever. I texted you or emailed you or something right after I saw that scene, and I was like, oh my god, you're a comedic genius.
Oh, the Beck's dance.
It was so phenomenal.
I just remember thinking all the Smallville fans have been waiting for you to get your shirt off, and then suddenly you just start falling about. They're not going either.
The unsexy dance.
Yeah.
But it was very funny.
Yeah, we were worried whether she'd do it or not because it was, but you pulled it off so beautifully.
Well, John Fawcett called me and he was like, okay, so there's this thing in the new script. I was like, yeah. About like, so am I supposed to be a good dancer or is this like a bad dancer? And either way, I'm going to need some help choreographing what we're going to do so I don't look, well, silly. The point was to look silly, but choreographed silly somewhat. So we talked about it on the phone before Christmas, and we shot the episode just after Christmas, and I remember being up at like 4 a.m. because I had like a 6 a.m. makeup call or something. I was like, this is way too early to doing this dance, and I think we set call was like 7 a.m. by the time I was dancing around. I was like, oh my god, this is way too early.
That probably added to the crazy. You were like, well, I don't know what's happening.
But it was a blast. That was a lot of fun.
I mean, the other question I've got, we talked gender, but the other thing that I was talking to some journalist friends of mine and we were struck by is it's one of the few shows I can think of where it feels like the casting is completely colorblind. I love the fact we have a fantasy show and the myths are from all over the world, but it can be any race who's playing. The Siren's originally mostly a Greek myth, and yet we have a black man playing him. I think that's just brilliant. But I was wondering if that was ever conscious, or if that was just an open door policy. You just thought that the casting,
Oh, yeah, I just go for the best actors.
Cool.
I mean, that's actually been, we've had this little battle about how there was a defined role in the script a couple times now, and I won't get specific, but it involves some of these characters even. And the actors didn't fit. We tried to get what was described in the script, and then one day I just said, oh, screw it, I'm just going to go for the best actors.
It's brilliant. I mean, there's no show like it I can think of right now on air that has the sheer variety. And it just, it's one of those things. I'm working for a magazine called Cult TV Times. We've only been running 6 months. I'm watching a lot of telly lately across a lot of countries. So it was really striking to sit down and watch Lost Girl and just see how different you are from everything that's out there. But also to be aware, I keep saying to people, have you watched Lost Girl? And they're like, yeah, no, I didn't realise anyone else did into it. That's so great. Because all these people are just starting to find it bit by bit in the UK. I mean, yes, you got the DVDs, you got...
Well, it's on Netflix now.
Exactly, that's what I did. I watched it on Netflix. I mean, high def.
Yeah. Well, Netflix is trying to pick
We
it
look
up.
better in high definition.
Well, I was going to ask you about that because it's very interesting with high definition. There was a time back in the 80s where you'd shoot things on video. A lot of British shows were shot on very unforgiving video with sort of blanket lighting. And I was watching some 80s stuff and looking at it and going, oh my god, it looks like high def because you can see every little feature, and all these actors were so brave to go in front of it. But you guys have amazing makeup departments, you've got great wardrobe,
They
textures
naturally
come
look
out.
gorgeous.
Lighting.
It's not
And of
makeup.
course.
They naturally look
We've
fantastic.
all
Call me
had
when I'm
that like
50.
this. No, we have amazing departments all around. Everything from our set decoration to wardrobe to hair, makeup, lighting. David Green, who originated the lighting and the look of the show, is phenomenal. And I like that we look different and we have a very dark, kind of shaded, orangey Tuscan, I don't know, how would you describe it?
Yeah, it's perfect.
Kind of- all right, that works. Keep going. Great. I'm done.
We have moods all the time. There's always these
Moody,
little smoke
yeah.
machines, or not smoke, steam, whatever it is.
Steam
Fog up
smoke.
the recess.
It's like, oh, too much. Oh, we gotta wait a second,
Yeah.
fan that out.
And then you have all the smoke, you can't even see the actors.
It just looks like the set's on fire.
If you ever came to set, you'd see our lights aren't lights. They're these big, like,
Fluffy.
8
Fluffy.
feet tall things we call fluffy.
We call fluffy.
And they're big square panels that are like shaded light sort of thing. So it gives a really great look.
Where would you like to see the show moving ahead? If you could kind of look forward to seasons coming, what would you like to see happen for each of your characters and for the show overall?
Well, do you have any specifics, anybody? Because I know we took, I can tell you a little bit about
Jay,
season
why
4.
don't you hear this?
I have very specific plans. No, listen, season 4 we made a little more dramatic, I'll call it. It's a terrible word. The writers hate when I say I want more drama. They say, that's what we do, Jay. We give you drama, but we made it a little more dramatic. Somebody said, take everything you know about Lost Girl, turn it upside down. We delve into the characters' backstories more in season 4. We tell people where they all come from because we found that the fans wanted to learn more about everybody. And so it's a lot more, a little darker, a little tougher season 4. I have specific plans for future seasons that have certain political messages that I think are really important. Because if you've noticed that Beau's character doesn't like being sort of branded, named, told what to do, I think that's going to be very important. That you shouldn't be judged by your beliefs, you shouldn't be judged by your looks, you should be judged by who you are inside, and that's going to be a big part of the future seasons.
Is there anything that the network has said to you, you can't do that on TV, just don't show that?
Everything.
I don't think
the network said I couldn't do this, but I did.
Yeah.
That's why we love him.
I feel like I've had
I got some
conversations about that.
Yeah, we've had. We're very lucky. This show is an unusual show in that. Oh God, I'm gonna sound really bad. I have real control.
As you should.
As I do. I mean, when this started the show, everybody thought I was out of my mind, so I couldn't find partners. And the Canadian network really was involved early, but the way the show got bought was unusual because the head of the network said, "I really don't get this genre much," and I had to say, "Trust me." And she'll tell you, the head of the network said, everywhere I go, Jay said, "Trust me," and I went, "I don't get this stuff. It's not something I totally understand," so I sort of said, "Okay." And the network's involved very regularly, but the only thing they do is they've cut some of the nudity down, and they've jumped on me a couple of times for suggestive positions during sex scenes. I got an instruction once, take 10 seconds out of the sex scene. And that was a note from the network. I took out 2 seconds and I went and said, "Done," because they thought there was a certain, let's say, how do I say this? There was a certain position they didn't like.
Oh my gosh.
And I left it in. And I got instructions a couple times not to do those positions. That's the closest I ever
We're all
got.
trying to.
I know,
I don't want to say it here officially, but there are a few criticisms about the sex scenes, but that's the only thing we've ever been.
It's interesting, it's the sex and not the violence.
No,
that's because in North America, sex
Exactly.
is the illicit thing.
Yeah, Europe it's totally different. Europe they're quite happy with lots of sex, less violence. I mean, and even the violence. We got a little crazier with the violence this year because I think we've been tiptoeing around it. And as Beau goes against bigger foes, it had to get a little stronger. So I have this great stunt team that has done major films and had them reach a few times. So we've broken a few things. We've broken a few sets this year, so I think so.
Well, I was going to ask Rachel about that because the show, I didn't expect the showdown between you and Beau in the last episode of season 3. And it was like there was some real sort of sets being crashed and stuff. And I've watched so much action stuff over the years. I'm not bad at spotting stunt people, and I was watching the shots, going, "Oh my God, that's you!"
I know, it was so fun. It was a lot of fun to. We met up with the stunt people, Anna and I, and sort of choreographed the whole scene because you have to be able to do all the movements so that they can film that. And anytime, they sort of see your face, put you in, and then put the stunt girl in. But then when it came down to the day and we were rehearsing it, I said to Plato, one of our stunt guys, I'd really like to do this. And so they let me do a bunch of it. And I think there's one where Anna throws me against the wall. And Anna and I have this whole thing where we're actually friends in real life and we hang out and we really like each other, but we have to hate each other in the show. So she was like, "Okay, I'm gonna put you against the wall. I'm so sorry for doing this." I'm like, just do it. She's like, bam, and then the wall breaks, and I was so excited with how it turned out. But yeah, it was vicious.
I remember we improvised one scene. Her hair was down during the fight, it was all loose, and so everybody came to me and said, "Oh my God, the last scene her hair was up, now it's down. What are we gonna do? What are we gonna do?" And there was this big debate about your hair being down. So I had them throw you over that table.
Yeah. Jay's like, "Well, we'll just throw you over the table, then your hair will come down." I was like, "Oh, okay, yeah, that's
That was
great."
on the day.
I was
On the
thinking
day.
just take it out, but
On the
can
day,
throw me over
unrehearsed,
the
because
table.
they said, "Well, just take it out." I said, No, it has to happen for a reason. So there was this table with all this stuff on there. And I walked over and I said, "Throw her over this table."
I know.
And knock everything off. And it was the
How to
last
solve
minute
problems
add-on.
in life.
Yeah. Throw her over there.
Later, when I take my hair out, I'm just gonna throw myself over it.
So it was a cute add-on of the scene.
That's awesome.
It was such a fantastic scene. I wondered what for Ksenia and Ksenia and Emmanuelle, what your favourite bits of the shows that you've seen so far?
Oh gosh. Well, for me, I guess, in my scenes that I've shot, the dancing stuff was a lot of fun. That was sort of my equivalent. I don't really get to do stunt stuff in the show so much. I just kind of melt people. But
You would want to break break a nail.
That's
God
right.
forbid.
I don't exert myself
Yes,
that way.
yes.
But
Don't
but
break a
the dancing was fun. God, I guess that would have to be my favorite of the scenes that I've had to shoot. Ksenia?
I have a lot of favorites, but I would have to say I'm really excited about season 4.
Yeah.
I got to do a lot of things that were unexpected. And I love when we get to kind of bring our own talents from life into the show. Like I've gotten to play the drums.
Every time she says something, I write it in.
And in season 4, I get to do some cool stuff, and I also love doing fight stuff. I'm always telling him, like, from day one, like, more. So in season 3, when I got to do the magic staff and fight with the pigs, that was grueling and intense, but I loved every minute of it. And it was cool to see it with the effects, because, you know, on the day you just have a little stick and you're like, okay, well, hopefully this will look cool. And then once the effects and stuff are added on, it was fun to see. Yeah.
And look for her in season 4, because she told me she wanted to do something about a year ago or something. I think you just said it. And I said, okay, we'll put it in. And it's in season 4, and it's perfect. It's amazing. You're going to love what she does in season 4.
Is that all it takes? We just have to mention something?
Yeah, I kind of, seriously, if you
Okay.
say, I want to do something, I'll write in.
Horses?
Okay, I can
I
do
think
that.
the Morgan should ride a horse at some
I'm
point, right?
completely down.
In like the will, like
Look for season
Yep.
5.
Season
no,
5.
but you know, can I
I like
see?
you
I
to
can
have a
see you
little
in.
dog.
No, but can I give you a little riding crop and all this stuff and the nice blue jacket and the
See,
tan pants? I know
Yeah,
exactly how
no,
to
that
do
like,
right
can I
now.
keep the wardrobe?
Oh, that discussion again?
You're gonna want to keep it.
She
aren't
asked
you?
me for her heels every now and then. Yes. No, I know how to dress you. I know everything. I actually know the scene right now, and I know what you're going to do with the riding
It's
crop.
so perfect.
There needs to be a
Yeah.
pony though.
I can do it right now. I can do it right now.
Pony.
Come on, you're the riding crop. I can see it right now.
I have the outfit at home because I can just bring it with. That sounds
Right.
wrong.
It's those tan gabardine pants, right? And I know what it looks like. I know what it looks like.
Given you mentioned season 5, you were talking about the political ideas coming, which I'm looking forward to, because for me, I think it's quite important that entertainment does something as well as entertain. I think that's one of the great things about television. It's kind of, especially in Britain with the BBC, there's a big history of that is part of the point of television. It can do more than just entertain. It can do
Oh,
so
yeah.
much. Have you got a plan through to the end of the series? Do you have an end point in mind?
Yeah, I have.
Jay's always got a plan.
Yeah. I've had a plan. Well, actually, a lot of stuff we've adapted, to be honest. I mean, we've been sort of rewriting the show as we go. I adapt a lot to what's there. But I have a political message, and I have an overall story arc for the whole season and for everybody's character right now. So, no, I have something in mind. But I do make a point, and if you've seen, we really give important messages in the show on a regular basis about empowering yourself. We had, I think Anna and Zoe had a girl come up to her once at a convention and say, I came out to my parents because of your show. It gave me the strength, and I had my parents watch your show so they understood what it meant to be able to freely choose what you want to do with your life, sort of thing. So,
Literally giving me goosebumps.
yeah. So, but we give big messages. I mean, we've done a lot with Ksenia's backstory about her family, and you'll see more of that coming. We still have to play with your backstory, but we've had some big decisions that Tamsin's character had to make. You've been a bit, just fun, So.
We've had a little bit of backstory
Yeah, a
this year.
a little bit. Yeah, this year we have some complications to the Morgan's life that will show up.
Oh my gosh, so good.
Her like devious life, sort of thing. But we made a point in season 4 of giving backstories and in the backstories you're going to see that everybody has very complicated stories, and that the characters you're seeing are a mix of some very bad experiences and good experiences, which is what everybody's made up of, right?
Rumor is that Vex is back this year. What can you tell us?
Vex doesn't go away. I don't think. Again, that was another character. Vex was supposed to be in 2 episodes in season 1. He was supposed to die in the second one, but I loved what he
You
did.
can't kill Polynos.
Yeah,
No.
but I
So
loved
bad.
what he did. I loved. He makes up his own stuff. So we brought him back. So I think. Have we said he's back? I guess we said he's back.
If not, here it is.
But you can't kill Vex. I mean, Vex is just too cool. So he's around, and we are actually going to learn more about him this year too. So we get his backstory.
There are lots of theories on the internet that Kenzie and Vex are going to get together this season.
It's so funny because I just recently heard that during an interview, and I was like, "What?" I was like, "That's crazy."
It's the
But hell, who
mascara
knows?
lines, the
Season
mascara
4.
lines, right?
It's the mascara. I didn't know mascara led to like Two people go, mwah. That's what it is. Now I know. God, maybe I'd get more dates.
I know. That's what we've been doing wrong.
It was so obvious.
Yeah, no.
I can't see Vex as a relationship.
No, I think they have like a special bond. I mean, they've been through hell and high water together, and it was nice when he moved in with Kenzie and Beau. And I love having scenes of him, and I love Paul. But you know, we'll see. Season 4, everything kind of gets flipped over on its head. But I don't know about a Kenzie Vex future. I think I have.
You guys don't
shoot
have
that
access to
rumor
the
down.
webisodes yet, do you?
No.
They're only in Canada because there's a rights issue as to who can broadcast them. So that gives you a bit of hints as to what's coming. So those should be on the air soon, as soon as we figure out the rights issue.
Cool. Oh, so actually, speaking of rights in
Can we
Canada.
just make this the last one as well, please?
Oh, okay. One of the things I've always loved for like, I don't know, 20 years now is Canadian music, rock music, pop music, and Canadian television's always been great at bringing that to the forefront. I was just wondering, do you ever write with music in mind for certain scenes, or is it all down to the music supervisor? Because there's been some really good bands turning up in the show over the
I've
last.
written some things with music in mind, but I try to avoid it really because I trust my music guys. They're great.
Yeah.
They're really, really good.
I'm always like, what song? What's in that episode? It's so good. Tell me.
No, I mean,
The Wanderer.
well, you haven't seen. I don't know if you've seen the promos. We took, the song "The Wanderer."
Yeah.
Have you heard our female version yet? No. Oh gosh, you're gonna love this.
You'll love it.
Oh, actually, I could play it.
Do you have
I can
it?
play,
You have it?
Where's my phone? I can play the first few minutes of it. I got to do this. This is my little specialty here. I had to negotiate this for 6 or 7 months with Warner's. We took the song "The Wanderer," which is a very well-known song, and we adapted it.
Jane and Vanessa, our other producer, they held auditions for female vocalists, and they came up with this girl who has a beautiful, sultry voice. And so
I'm gonna give you a
now
little
we have
taste.
the girl version.
Is that gonna come up volume-wise?
Yeah. Here, like this.
Wait, wait,
And cut it like this and it'll have a speak.
wait. Okay, now I gotta stop that.
Jay's voice.
Yeah.
He's a fantastic vocalist.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
No, but what happened is that was quite a task because we had to get them to agree to change the words to "I'm the type of girl" instead of "I'm the type of guy," and then we had to audition all these girls, and they wanted to do it country, and I wanted a ballad. So this took a long time, and we just shot a special promo for the show with this song. So
Very cool.
it's meant. I hope women. It's meant to appeal to women because it's more of the ballad. It's got that sexiness to it. So that's me trying to be sensitive with women again. But,
The voice of women, ladies and gentlemen. And with that, thank you very much.
much.